Top 5 biggest fights in combat sports history. Number 5. Mayweather versus Canelo. Mayweather versus Canelo was took place in 2013, where Mayweather beat Canelo by humiliating him by doing some things like, playing games and stuff. He was embarrassing Canelo. Canelo was undefeated until he fought Mayweather. Mayweather was a real deal. Even in his age, he was like 38 when he beat. He was like 34, 30, 36, 37 when he beat Canelo. So it was really impressive from Mayweather. He's one of the best in the world. He's the greatest boxer of all time. So it sold over 2.2 million PPV buys, placing as a top 5 biggest fights in combat sports history. Number 4. Khabib versus Conor. Khabib versus Conor McGregor took place in UFC 229 in 2018, where Khabib beat Conor. So this fight was so interesting because of the rivalry between both. So both have hated each other, and Conor was the biggest star. He fought Floyd Mayweather, and he jumped to the UFC, and it's his first fight after fighting Mayweather. So he was become big star when he fought Mayweather. So that's why this fight was so interesting and became the biggest fight in UFC history. So it is in the 4th place when it comes to the biggest fight of all time in combat sports history. Number 3. Oscar De La Hoya versus Mayweather. Oscar De La Hoya versus Floyd Mayweather was the biggest fight at that time after they fought against each other. Because before that it was Mike Tyson versus some other guy was the biggest fight of all time, and they break the record and sell 2.4 million PPV buys and become the biggest fight at that time. And this fight was interesting because they both were the best in the world, so that's why it was interesting. It was a close fight, but Mayweather won by decision, so it is what it is. So this is in number 3. Number 2. Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. This fight took place in 2017, where Mayweather won by knockout. So Mayweather knocked out Conor McGregor, who was an MMA fighter, who was an MMA megastar, who came up here, and they made like a huge press conferences and stuff. Sold this fight like to the next level. I think this is the most revenue generated fight of all time, but it is not the most selling fight of all time, because there is another fight which sold, which is called as the biggest fight of the century. So I will come up to it afterwards. So Conor versus Mayweather was the biggest fight because both were trash talking and both were the biggest stars of all time. So both sold this fight out of the roof by press conferences and stuff, and it was the last fight of Floyd Mayweather, and Floyd Mayweather was undefeated, so they thought that Conor gonna beat him, but he didn't, even though Floyd was old. So that's why this fight was hyped up. So they both made a lot of money from this fight. So it was the biggest fight of second biggest fight of combat sports history by selling 4.3 million PPV buys. Number 1. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao was the biggest fight of all time because they both were the best in the world. There was no trash talking and stuff like that, because they both were respectful for each other, and even though they were respectful for each other, people thought that Mayweather gonna lose this fight. That's why people went there, because people hate Mayweather, man. People hate Mayweather. People wanted to see Mayweather get knocked the fuck out. That's why they went there and saw the fight. And this was the biggest fight of all time by selling 4.6 million PPV buys, as this is the biggest fight of the century, which is said to be the biggest fight of the century because they think nobody's gonna beat this record, because everybody thinks that nobody's gonna sell more than 4.6 million PPV buys again ever. But I don't know what happens in the future, but I think this was wonderful that Mayweather is part of most of the fights here, and also Conor being the part of most of the fight here. It is more like Conor and Mayweather's list because both are in the mix when it comes to the PPV. So they are both are the biggest stars of all time. So Mayweather and Pacquiao was the biggest fight of all time. So these are the top five biggest fights of combat sports history. These are the including boxing, UFC, everything. Be the best in the world. Nobody can beat me. I'm the best in the world. Like, subscribe, and these are the biggest fights in the combat sports history. And like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends or teammates or somebody so that I can get more views. So that's what it is. So thank you for watching.